It should be able to handle different types of magazines and even newspapers, things that come out on a daily basis with very template-oriented design, things that come out weekly with partially templated designs, and things with completely original designs each month. Considering the state of the market, it should be something that works on the iPad, of course, because it's the first tablet with wide distribution. But it should also work on these other tablets that support Flash that are coming out on the Android operating system, the RIM ONX operating system, and platforms that are coming out over the course of the next year. You're starting to see some of them already with the Samsung Galaxy Tab and really beautiful tablets from Toshiba, Dell, and others. So to do so, we said, let's take that viewer, which we did for the Apple operating system in Objective-C, and transform it into an Air-based viewer for the other platforms. And at the same time, let's do one for the desktop. That way you can create a publication and proof it on the desktop without having to go out to different hardware devices before launching it. So we're creating all of these tools for publishers. Finally, you need a way to distribute the content to different stores without having to upload each one of them separately, a way to do subscription notifications and to sell single copies or multi-copies, to offer special bundles like print-digital subscription combinations, a way to integrate with subscription services. All publishers have databases in which they store their subscriptions, so they should be able to link the database for the digital subscription to the database for the print. And a way to do analytics, to use programs to tell how many minutes a user spent with each story, how many times they clicked on a hypertext link, how long they stayed and actually read the publication from front to back. I'll talk over this for a second. So here we're using InDesign to create a slideshow, using tools that are built into InDesign. Previewing with InDesign the video and animation. Creating a 360-degree view, which is actually just a series of still photographs. This tool is called the bundler. This assembles stories into issues. You can also insert ads at the same time. Once you've done it, you export it, and Adobe's creating a hosting service that I'll talk about in a second. So here's a slideshow in action, created from InDesign. Browse mode in the viewer, we just saw. An embedded video, which plays in vertical or horizontal mode. Videos can be streamed or embedded. Scrubber bar, 360 view. And of course, we'll have it working on the desktop as well as on devices. Same file format, sort of like PDF, but for interactive publications. So, what we announced at MAX was the Digital Publishing Suite. The Digital Publishing Suite consists of authoring tools, management tools, and site analysis tools. We'll talk about each of those separately now. So, from the authoring side, what we've done is taken Indesign CS5, which has many interactive features already, which we developed for Flash. Our original idea was that, of course, we would go from InDesign to Flash to the iPad. When Apple gave us a little bit of a problem with that, we sort of readjusted our ideas. We may come back later on and revise them now that Apple is being more generous about developer terminology in their licensing. But for now, we decided we'd take InDesign, add some extra features based on CS5 for interactive components, and then create a tool called Bundler. The Bundler takes an InDesign document and tells InDesign to export it in a new format. It's actually a platform-neutral zip file with all of the resources and XML commands needed to recreate animation that you built using the interactive overlay tool in InDesign. And then the result is what we call an issue file. It contains all the resources and is platform neutral, and therefore doesn't rely on an operating system to execute, just needs a viewer to execute. The overlay creator is an Air application that runs on Mac or Windows and has a series of different types of animations that you can create very, very easily. And then it generates a sort of a placeholder file that you put in InDesign. The bundler sees that and turns that into the XML commands and resources necessary to play the file. So it actually makes a platform-neutral delivery file called a .issue file that can be sent anywhere. The current forms of interactivity that are supported are videos, image pan, where you place a large image inside of a small area, and then you can move around, zoom with pinch and zoom gestures. A slideshow, click on different buttons and see different images. Hypertext links, both outside to Safari or within the document from one page to another. Audio, with custom skinnable audio components. 360-degree views, which are basically a series of photographs taken from different angles, or it could be a build-up. In the first issue of Wired, they had a Lego Lamborghini, which just built up from scratch as you rub your finger across it. And panorama. Panorama is a view like inside of a room. You take a photograph of the floor, the ceiling, the walls, front and back, and then you can use pinch and zoom to navigate all the way around the room. All done with still photography, which is quite exciting. Now, the content viewer is the app itself. So the idea is that a publisher would be able to brand this content viewer with their icons and their URLs. This would be put on the App Store with just some demo content. And then when the user opens it up, any available issue of a publication would be seen inside the library view, which I'll show you in a second, and the user can buy it through in-app purchases. The viewer is designed to be used in horizontal mode or vertical mode, and has lots of features for navigation. One of them, like I said before, is the browse mode. Another shows you the hypertext, the metadata for each story and article at the top of the page. And the library mode looks something like this, where you see the current issue there, issue you've already bought here and here, and you can just do in-app purchasing. The way in-app purchasing works is you buy it through a store. It could be the Android store, it could be the Apple store. When you click buy, the store handles the transaction of cash in the background. The store owner takes their 30% dividend, and then a token is sent back to the viewer, which talks to our hosted service, which downloads the issue. So the hosted service works on a network of computers that we already have in place to download things like Acrobat Reader and the trial versions of our apps. It's 24/7, perfectly reliable, and can store large files. For the publisher, they access the suite through the digital publishing portal, which will be a web application, and they can use it to manage the issues on the file, delete and update the issues, set pricing, modify the terms of use, and in return, they will get automatically analytics on the issue. We're building into this InDesign viewer the ability to put automatic analytic tags inside the app and inside the view file, the issue file, that return statistics, so the publisher will actually be able to see how many people are doing what within each issue. Now, customization integration options will be possible. We have an enterprise program, which is just a custom contract to allow publishers to change the viewer or to make additions to the workflow within the suite. So what we intend to do is to make the authoring component part of InDesign CS5. It's in beta now. I'll discuss that in a second. But then we're also going to sell the hosted service so that people can share content between stores and get back analytics very smoothly. So how are we going to package this? This is a little frightening. It seems complicated, but it really isn't. What we'd like to do is, our first pricing is for medium and large publishers. We're creating pricing for smaller publishers and individuals over the course of the next few months. But this, right off the bat, we've had a very strong interest from large-scale publishers with more than one magazine title. What we plan to do is to charge a simple fee per month, no matter how many magazines they publish, of about $699. That would cover all of their magazines and all of the services. Then, for every issue a customer downloads, an individual fee, starting at 30 cents, going down to 17 cents at higher volumes. trying to make it as smooth and as simple as possible. So this is pretty good for a larger or medium publisher. Not a good pricing situation necessarily for an individual or someone who just wants to do 12 issues a year. That's a little bit high for them. So we're trying to come up with a better price for that. This is also not perfect for publications that come out on a daily basis. So we're going to come up with some different pricing patterns for individuals and small publishers. And then for newspaper publishers and for companies that want customization to the viewer or the workflow, we'll call that an enterprise customer. They can talk to an Adobe representative and come up with a custom situation for them. That might include all of these services bundled together. That can also include Omniture. You're going to hear, well, we're talking tomorrow at our public event about Omniture and the Site Catalyst product, which is completely customizable. We'll also allow customers to do very deep analysis through customization through Site Catalyst. Now, the good news is that Wired Magazine is publishing, the New Yorker is publishing, about 20 other magazines are already publishing using our beta release software. So we've actually put this up on Adobe Labs. You can go to Adobe Labs today and download the software. It requires Indesign CS5, and it's sort of a rolling beta. We'll be adding features every couple of weeks or every couple of months that add new features, new interactivity, and new hosted services, and we won't charge for it until the second quarter of 2011. So publishers can get used to it, try it out, see if it's working for them, see what make some revenue projections, and see if our pricing is justified, and then go forward from there. Simply go to labs.adobe.com, and it's all free of charge. It does require InDesign CS5 underneath it. So in summary, the publishing suite is tools for InDesign that allow you to create interactivity with no coding required, and to use your existing print design skills to create digital and interactive publishers. These publications that we're seeing from Martha Stewart and from Condé Nast Publications, the interactivity was all done by the graphic designers who already work there. The production component is the bundler, that piece of Air application that allows you to take in ads from outside developers who might only have CS5, create the ads, place them in with the stories, and then output an issue file. The hosted service allows for a very easy distribution through our content delivery network. And then finally, the analytics component allows you to see who's using what and to analyze whether the publication is being read and whether features are working the way you thought they would. So for more information, there's some more shows on the web at adobe.com digital publishing. You can see a replay of the Adobe Max Publisher Keynote, including the Martha Stewart component that didn't start properly, at this URL. It's the video that lasts 22 minutes. I think it's the third one down from the Max Keynote. And thank you again for watching this, and I'll be around, of course, for the rest of the day if you want to see anything up close or on the iPad itself.